Hi, I'm Hugo Rodriguez. If you watched other episodes of this series, What Quantum Science Taught Us About Being Human, you will have probably noticed that they explain our human condition from an unconventional stand that challenges existing beliefs. This is the case because although quantum philosophy is based on its equations, the most accurate scientific discipline ever, the results of these equations are strange. And we have little choice but to accept the truthfulness of these results and the associated philosophical connotations. In today's presentation, I will be introducing some more unorthodox concepts, such as how quantum principles can explain our conscious and subconscious mind. So, I would encourage you to approach this series with an open mind and to be aware of the logic, the rationality, and the consistent nature of our interpretations. You will find no contradictions, and in time, you will notice that these concepts join to produce a complete and powerful theory of our human condition based on quantum principles. Let me start this presentation by reading an excerpt that encapsulates briefly what we have covered so far. When you look at your body, what you perceive is a physical structure composed of internal organs which are made of smaller parts all the way down to their subatomic particles. But what is there beyond this point? The answer is virtually unanimously accepted in the scientific world: waves of vibrating energy. The strings in the string theory. At this super minuscule level, everything exhibits as energy, and therefore this is what a person really is, when reduced to the bare essentials, a bundle of energy. But when I look at myself in the mirror, I see a physical body, Jacinta said. How is this energy transformed into something physical? That's because you, as everything physical, manifest in two forms, as matter and as immaterial energy. This was one of the most significant scientific findings of modern times, thanks to the works of Louis de Broglie. In 1924, de Broglie discovered that physical particles and energy waves are in reality one and the same, and that everything we perceive, including objects such as bowling balls, exhibits in both states. This dual characteristic became known as the de Broglie wave, and gave us the information we needed to unveil crucial secrets of our human condition. Because like bowling balls, a person is both a body that behaves as physical matter, which you can perceive with your senses, as well as pure energy, which you cannot perceive with your physical senses. So I'm a de Broglie wave, Jacinta said. Yes, basically. You belong to a universal family where all members exist in ethereal wave function form and at the same time in physical tangible form. Why can I sense my physical attributes but not the ethereal state of my body? She asked. Because physical senses can only capture what moves below the speed of light. The ethereal world lies beyond this threshold, outside the boundaries of your body receptors. At the speed of light, particles cease to behave as molecules and adopt a fully intangible wave function state, that is, pure energy. These are basic concepts that we covered in previous episodes. In this presentation, I will be expanding on them to explain what this invisible world of potentialities is and how we get from there everything that occurs in our lives, including our jobs, the family that we have, our health, and the state of our finances. The idea that we live in two dimensions, one physical and one non-physical, is by no means new. More than 2,000 years ago, Plato believed that there was a world of pure ideas where the natural laws of nature exist, and from where we get imperfect copies of their perfect forms. And the Enlightenment philosophers Immanuel Kant and George Wilhelm Hegel proposed the existence of two different worlds, one that we can perceive with our senses, which they called phenomena, and one non-corporeal, which they called the noumena. What quantum science is showing us is essentially similar. Plato's world of pure ideas and Kant's noumena are fundamentally similar to the two states of the de Broglie wave. Below the speed of light, this wave is our physical state, and beyond the speed of light, it exists in immaterial form in a world of potentialities, our invisible existential home. The vehicle that we use to travel back and forth this existential home is the waves of energy that we absorb and emit, our de Broglie wave. Would you say that this pure energy is my soul? Jacinta asked. It would be a lot more accurate to say that this is your consciousness. It is what connects you with other people, objects in your surroundings, and with the ethereal world of possibilities from where you extract the means to live and evolve. The wave that we are exhibits in two forms, one physical and the other one spectral. These forms are not only modern interpretations of the traditional notions of phenomena and the noumena, but also modern interpretations of the traditional concepts of consciousness and unconsciousness. Our awareness of this wave below the speed of light is our consciousness. This is our physical reality. Beyond the speed of light, the other side of the de Broglie wave is imperceptible to us. This is our unconscious. Our consciousness is a wave of energy. When we are conscious of the objects that we see, the sounds that we hear, the thoughts and the feelings that we have, it's because we are perceiving their vibrations below the speed of light. What we cannot perceive, but we can deduce that exists beyond the reach of our senses, is our existence in the incorporeal sea of quantum probabilities. And the vehicle that we use to journey into this invisible world is our own thoughts, our own intentions. However, as I briefly explained in episode 2, this is not to say that our consciousness is the brain. In later presentations, I will be addressing more in detail how our consciousness is in reality our whole body, not just the brain in isolation, the body exhibiting as a quantum system. Let's talk a bit more about our existential invisible home. Where is our place in the realm of existence? This simple question has caused great upheaval throughout history, and it is still a major enigma. However, unless we figure out what our place is, in the universe and what we are actually doing there, it is going to be impossible to understand who we really are and why we exist. The early Greeks made a good start, proposing that we exist in material form, but that our essence resides elsewhere in immaterial form. Pythagoras, for example, reasoned that we could only reach this world through numbers and mathematics, and inspired philosophers like Plato to infer that our existential home was made of pure ideas. A triangle, for example, existed in two forms, one as a concept or idea which was perfect, and the other as a physical form that it takes when we draw it in material form, but which is never perfect. To infer what our existential home is, thinkers have made a range of assumptions, but they seem to share an elementary reasoning. What provides us with answers is not what things are, but how we see them. Quantum mechanics took these concepts to a new level by proposing that to understand reality, we need to see it not only placing us as the main observer, but also as the creator of events. One of the most important contributions quantum mechanics made to the understanding of reality was the discovery that you can only divide things to a certain point and no further. This is the quantum jump or Planck constant. After that, there is the great unknown, where things exist in ways that we cannot perceive, only imagine. The quantum jump is a crucial window into understanding what happens with us when we are out of sight from this world, because, as you will see soon, we really create life when we are not here. But where are we when we are not in this physical world? The answer lies in understanding the energy wave that we are. Life expresses in quanta. Therefore, if we slow down time, what we see is that the wave that we are changes from one quantum jump to the next. And what we perceive with our senses are small discrete bits of reality occurring at regular intervals, separated by other and longer bits of reality that we cannot sense. We only see the reality that takes place every 10 to the minus 43 of a second. Much of our existential home is invisible to our senses, but we spend most of our existence there. At every quantum jump, every 10 to the minus 43 of a second, we go there. This is the time when the wave that we are travels beyond the speed of light. In later chats, I will explain how we do this by summoning agents that can travel this fast. Inside this ethereal world, we shop around subconsciously for what we wish and for what we desire. We do this by trying to match the energy waves of these events, which exist in potentiality there. If we manage to contact and slow them down below the speed of light, we transform them from potential into tangible reality, and we then perceive them as the physical events in our lives. You are here in this physical world only when a quantum jump takes place. At other times, you are somewhere else and completely undetected. And since these shots of physical reality are very brief, disappearing no sooner than they appear, your existence is essentially a vast emptiness with sporadic real occurrences. So let's put things into perspective. The real world that you perceive is construed by sequences of brief appearances of physical awareness that occur in the middle of a great vacuum imperceptible to our senses. This invisible world of potentialities contains everything that we can ever imagine or perceive, for the simple reason that we extract everything from there. You may be thinking that it is impossible to travel back and forth in such brief moments of time. These existential journeys, however, are possible because time doesn't exist there. Remember that time stops beyond the speed of light, where the quantum sea of probability exists. At every quantum jump, when we are not in this physical world, we are in this place where time doesn't run and space doesn't count. As we look into how our existence takes place in this great vastness of apparent nothingness, great mysteries can be unveiled. We can explain, for example, how the vibrating energy that we are changes at every quantum jump, giving us new emotions, new thoughts, new insights, and the feeling that we are evolving. You may recall that quantum physics is based on the premise that reality is governed by energy waves. In fact, quantum mechanics is the science of waves. You become aware of things by sensing the vibrating energy that your body is exhibiting at any particular time. And you are aware of what this wave does for the simple reason that you are it. This is what makes you and how you feel your perceptions. You are a quantum wave perceived as your body. And although the underlying process is complex, nature makes it easy for you by simplifying things. All you are aware of at any instant in time is the reverberation of one wave, the one that resulted from the contributing conglomerated waves of all the internal components in your body at that particular time. At every quantum jump, this wave, that is, you, changes into a somewhat modified state of consciousness. You become a slightly different person with a slightly different emotion. Quantum jumps, referred to as the Planck constant, are the smallest quantity of time that can possibly be measured. Everything from the smallest structure to the biggest, including you, of course, evolves by undergoing changes in their states at each quantum jump. Let's summarize our conclusions from this episode. I started by pointing out that we live in two worlds, one physical and one non-physical, the latter being essentially not unlike Plato's world of pure ideas and Kant's noumena. To understand how we access this non-physical world, I explained that at fundamental levels, our human body is composed of waves of vibrating energy. A person is a de Broglie wave, and this wave is our consciousness. Below the speed of light, it is our conscious mind, allowing us to see our physical appearances and the material world. Beyond the speed of light, this wave travels to the invisible quantum world of potentialities in search of events that match our wishes and our desires. This is our subconscious mind. We access the potential world at every quantum jump, zillion times every second. And it is here where we subconsciously spend much of our existence. However, since time doesn't exist beyond the speed of light, we return to the physical world instantly. In later episodes, I will explain that time really starts and stops at every quantum jump. What we see happening at any instant in our life is in reality snapshots. These snapshots occur at every quantum jump. They are the potential events that we manage to transform into physical events. In quantum terminology, these snapshots are called the collapse of the wave function.